Okay, so we are online and I'm just checking to make sure um am I visible, audible? If you are watching me, to make sure. Okay, so if you're watching me live or on Zoom, let me know. Okay, give me a smiley if you're online. Super. Give me a smiley. Okay, give me hearts if you're online. If you are watching me on YouTube, super. All right. So let's see what we've got for today. All right. So I'm just gonna press the record button. All right. Anyway, it's streaming live, so I'm thinking to go live and not record it so that you guys can catch me up online itself. Super. Welcome to Unlocking Emotional Mastery, to using your brain power, using your left brain and right brain skills. And we are on episode number 28. Now, this episode is dedicated to moms who are juggling with a lot of responsibilities. And although we have spoken about proactivity in detail and wider, today will be the point shooter guide for moms. Okay. Because proactivity is very important. It's a very crucial skill for all aspects of life. And naturally, we will be proactive. If you are a mom, it's a quite natural thing that we plan ahead for our babies and also family chores and handling of various other responsibilities. So it's not a rocket science or it's not something new that we are discussing, but how are we relating this to the talents that we have? How are we using certain strength in us and how we can leverage the same strength to the missing elements? Okay, none of us are perfect. We always have a room for improvement. Now, what kind of improvements that we need, and how fast can we build it? That is the whole idea. Now, this entire session is to give you that necessary awareness that these are your strength and these are your areas of improvement, and where is that bridge that we can build in this 100 days of interacting. Okay, so you may be at different aspects, today being a weekend Sunday. Maybe if you're watching from US or if you're from India, it must be late night there and it is afternoon here, and cold is setting up the weather, and we are gearing up for the cold season. Having said that, when the sun is not out there, there could be a lot of effect on us, okay? Physically, mentally, and also emotionally. So I think this is the right time that we are talking about emotional intelligence, not as a theory, but using your brain power. So it's very important to keep the brain in focus, okay? To give that necessary energy, nutrition, and sleep. Sleep also gives the energy to the brain in order to bring the focus to the brain. Okay. So all these episodes, you will find different topics, different talents we will be discussing deeper and wider, and also all aspects of life. So you take resilience or you take critical thinking or problem solving, we would have gone deeper into understand how problem solving logically and creatively helping us, and how as a mom problem solving could be applied, and as a leader, as an entrepreneur, how resilience can be applied, various ways that we can apply all these talents. So we have seen that, and today we are on the episode of 28th, and we still have a lot of episodes to go. Hopefully, we will complete that 100 topics, and it's not just within that. And I will also give you a ways and means to fast track your growth. You don't have to stop. You don't have to wait for till we complete the 100 days. If you want to go deeper and if you want to go quicker to understand how you can gain all the talents that we are discussing, we will be discussing. There are ways and means. You will have to stay till the episode to understand that. I'm also giving you some gifts to know whatever talents we are discussing, how can you immediately apply in your life within 24 hours to see whether it's working for you or not. Okay. So let me share my screen. Super. All right. So today we are on 28 and we will be discussing about how can a busy mom can take control and have a less stress. Because there will be sometimes, if your days are tougher and not really satisfied, it's not going at your way, whatever you planned, because life takes over. Now, what amount of management that you have within you, how can you take control of what's happening within you? And so, you can easily control these situations around you. So in this episode, although we have, looked at proactivity in a deeper sense, if you have not watched the previous episode, I would highly recommend you to do so. Go to the previous episodes and watch what is happening, what has been covered in proactivity. Any strategy, any topic of proactivity, whether it is, left brain driven or right brain, or it is for entrepreneur, leadership, mothers, or career, working professionals. Either ways, we would have spoken about a lot of strategies to activate your left brain and right brain. So that will definitely help you connect the dots. And today we are again discussing about proactivity strategies, thereby what is needed for a mom to concentrate on. Okay. Point shooter will go one step ahead. The tips to understand how you can go stay one step ahead in many things that you handle. And then tips on how you can create more quality time by planning ahead and also foreseeing the pitfalls. You would have got an alternative plan, backup plan that saves your life and that saves your time and energy or money and resources as well. Not just for you, for people around you. So that means you're staying one step ahead and there is no much of stress at that point of time. If only you're waiting to, chase the last minute goose or handle the last minute crisis is when there will be a lot of stress built up. But if you can anticipate and plan it ahead, then it is easier for you to um, stay ahead. Okay. And most importantly, it won't exhaust you because we are juggling with so many things. We are dealing with so many dynamic of people. Unless there is an office setup or there is a structured environment created outside, family is not like that. Five fingers are not same, never going to be the same. People will have their own likes and dislikes. You will also have to take care of your energy level, time, bandwidth. Also, some amount of self-care. It is also important to find that harmony within you so that you can extend the same harmony in your family. Okay. So it is very important to take care of all that. Now, when you say proactivity, um, so proactivity in household, okay, where do we start? Any transactions, okay, whether it is for office, specifically we are talking about mom's guide for proactivity. So a busy mom, in my case, I am also working from home, digital entrepreneur. So, and I also have other responsibilities. Same with somebody who's working outside and also taking care of your family. Or somebody could stay at home taking care of their children full time. For each of us, all these talents are applicable. Okay. It is up to you how you want to apply to your life. But today, we will see where are the areas we can practically apply. The first thing you are going to do when it comes to proactivity, you're going to anticipate the needs. Okay. You're going to plan ahead to prevent problems before they are going to arise. Then you're going to have a logical planning. You're going to use your left brain thinking to organize and schedule tasks. Okay. Although we do, but in this series, the whole aim is to let you know which brain we are talking about. When it comes to anticipating and planning ahead, largely we are using left brain. And then creative problem solving. You're going to apply right brain creative creativity to manage the unexpected changes, so that you will be clear with some alternatives. You would have thought through some backup. Okay, we all do that, especially when there is a toddler at home. We are never going to wait for the last minute crisis, right? Because I know it's going to stress. And when there is a baby waiting for us to take care of it, we will naturally take that step. Okay, it is easier for us. We are just taking the angle of where we have not been able to see through, and where are the areas that we can build. Okay, benefits of being proactive: you're going to have a less stress. That's the first thing, because you're not chasing the last minute crisis. Proactive planning is going to reduce the last minute chaos at home. Second thing is, you're going to have more free time. Organization creates space for self care and family fun. And third thing is, you're going to have an improved family dynamics. A calm, structured environment is going to help everyone understand their roles. Because if you, as a mom, imagine in the morning times when it is so chaotic by itself, and you have not planned well, okay, you've not thought through, and then you're just like that, acting on the morning, sometimes we might lose the track of time, or some things we might forget, and the children cannot be blamed, and you're going to be taking everything on you. You're going to have a guilt ride in you because of this frustration is coming out. Even the children will not know how to react. They will not know what to expect from you. Okay, it'll add up to the stress. So it is important to have that um, expectation setting, or have that open communication. Also have that shared responsibility. Speak out when there is a challenge and let them know that you're going through. So we will see that in detail. Now, what is the challenges for somebody being proactive? Why they are not effectively be able to be proactive? Maybe it is time investment. So it require planning requires upfront time, right? Which can be hard to find out. And perceived rigidity also. Some family members may feel routines are too structured. It so happens, especially in family. It could be between your spouse or with your children or with elders that you stay. Usually, our elders are in our culture, they have the routine in place. They have been used to it, and they would have, had their experiences of it. But if it's a young couple, or, young parents, they may still be evolving. They're trying to figure out. And if somebody is too spontaneous and they don't like routines, it's going to be very difficult. Okay, you will have to set yourself first, and also with the people at home. It is Otherwise it's practically not possible, because we just cannot go with the spontaneity every time. You just have to be lucky when something gets solved because you acted at the last minute, but you cannot be lucky all the time. It is important. At the same time, it is so very natural for a parent to become controlled parent, because we don't want to get into that loss of time or money or resources. We are so very hyper vigilant. We get hyper vigilant, and we make sure that we are not losing anything. So that becomes very tough, both on us and with the children or people around us. Okay, because maybe they are still not in sync. It is natural for a mom, okay, more than a dad, or either ways, okay, to feel that hurry, because you're handling a toddler. You very well know, or because you have been having an experience of handling many children. You exactly know when the child is going to be hungry, when the child needs food. It may not be so with the dads, either ways also, right? But definitely your children cannot catch up the frequency, because that's not their rule yet. The time aspect itself is a little bit slow with children. Okay, so it is very important to have that thing if you're in a nuclear family. But if it's going to be a joint family, that's a different ball game. Depends on people, how, it's very important to set expectations and bring them all together. But it's going to be perceived that we are controlled. As long as it is serving, it's good. But if you feel that people around you gives you that cues, or you by yourself feel it exhaustive, or you're feeling very rigid about it, you should be willing to open up to receive feedback and course correct it. Okay, and then make sure emotional pressure is not built. Responsibility to keep everything running smooth can be very draining. That is why it is important to have 70-30% or 80-20 rule always. 80 is, Pareto principle is 80-20, that 20% of the work is important, and only from that 20% of work, we get that 80% of result. Okay. In essence, how do we apply in this? It is important to have that 80% structure, that you can anticipate what is pitfalls and how you can have a backup plan. But 20%, you'll have to just give it life to have a buffer, because life takes over. And that point of time, you just cannot be rigid. You just cannot, pandemic hit. So even though we didn't know, we had a lot of resistance, but we have to give in, because it's harmful for everybody in the world. And there were regulations for everyone in the world. So it was a fair rule. And you just cannot be rigid about it. At the same time, even after pandemic, there were so many people, they couldn't adapt to hybrid model of, work from home, or learning the technology, because everything has become digital after that. I mean, I'm not saying everything, but at least world is not the same before how it was before pandemic. And for that much, we'll have to be malleable and flexible to adapt. So if you cannot give in for that buffer for life to take over, then you adding so many responsibility in your plate will only exhaust. Okay, that reality has to kick in. And then importance of proactivity for moms. Without proactivity, we are just going to feel overwhelmed, stress, and constant reaction to problems, which is going to lead to exhaustion. With proactivity, smoother days, reduce stress, and more time for self-care and bonding. Now, who's going to benefit from this? We are essentially talking for working moms, okay? But stay-at-home moms also, and moms of a larger family. As I said, nuclear family has its own advantages and disadvantages, and then stay-at-home moms, especially in the nuclear family, lack of support will take a different angle to the problems, right? While the freedom is there, but then there is lack of support, that is also going to have a, backfire on it. So you really have to see the pitfalls and proactively manage a lot of things. Moms with larger families, of course, there are a lot of support, but then maybe less freedom. Okay, so you need to streamline a lot of schedules and tasks so that you can handle not just multiple children, but also multiple adults. Okay, that's a different game altogether. Proactivity in household chores. Now, how are we going to start with this? Where are those areas we can apply proactivity? First is your home chores. Let's see how you can be proactive there. You're going to set your routines. You're going to delegate tasks and monitor progress. Okay, setting routines like creating weekly cleaning schedules for the family, and then delegating tasks, assign age appropriate chores to children and partners, and also monitor the progress. Usually, we as a mom or a woman, we don't want to delegate something in kitchen or with children, right? We don't trust. Even if it's a spouse, we don't trust. But there has to be a delegation. Somewhere you will have to break that barrier, and you will have to give in. You will have to embrace that imperfection. Otherwise, you're going to be perceived as rigid, and you by yourself will exhaust, because you just cannot not humanly possible to handle everything in the world. And you are not the only one who's bearing it. Please remember this, and make sure that you delegate whatever is age appropriate task to your children or to your spouse, or outsource it if you can. Make sure that you can monitor their progress and give the course of correction. That is very much possible. Only then there can be a routine set. And then proactivity in family schedules. So, shared calendar. Sometimes you may be busy, there could be, sometimes we will forget, right, in the heat of the run. So it's best to have the calendar shared with your spouse using some mobile app where we can, there's an ecosystem of apps that can get shared with people, so that in case you forget, your spouse can chip in. Or even your children can remind you if there are, mid-schoolers and above. And then you're going to set aside weekly planning to plan the upcoming weeks activities. In our case, we are from US, and we've learned a lot. This part of the country is totally independent. Even if it's a native country for them, they are totally independent. They do everything, right from fixing the bulb or fan, or doing a big time improvement for home, or even the routine, laundry or driving, everything, groceries, everything has to be independent. There cannot be, I mean, it's very costly to outsource. Okay, that's the only thing, because labor is very costly here. unlike my native country, India, where support is very much available, right? So in that sense, we'll have to plan it earlier. That earlier you used to be like it's a car driven city all the time, so you have to uh, take the account of time availability, fuel, and the effort of going and coming all the time. So we've decided to go only for weekly groceries, and set everything on Saturday, Sundays. It's like whether we want to go shopping for other areas or not, we always do this grocery shoppings. And that too, we are fixed with not spreading ourselves into too many, shops. We are very clear which one we want to go, and then we know which aisle it is, and then we just pick up the ones what is needed, and we are done. It's a matter of, see, it used to be a half a day job, you know, we picking our car and starting from wearing the jacket and then going all full force searching for different groceries, and then sometimes the refrigerator may not be enough, that much we want to fill it, and sometimes we might even go on the weekdays to pick it up. So all that didn't work out. So we had put a schedule, and we have molded ourselves um, in order to make sure that one particular day we finish all the groceries. Sometimes even I cut my vegetables earlier and then keep it, refrigerated, so that in the morning time when I want to pick it up, it'll be fresh and at the same time easy to cook. So these are proactive measures. And communication. Ensure everyone knows the responsibilities and schedules. Whatever activities that I go through or in my mind, I do not expect somebody to have a telepathic ability to understand. I speak it out. It's better either you speak or write or flash it near their eyes. It is even important for you. Sometimes we may rush and we will forget what we spoke. So it's important to record and keep it flashed in either in the on the fridge or in your kitchen, wherever your eyes, all of you commonly walk past that area. Or best is to use the app if it is available for all of you, right? And setting up routines. How can you be proactive there? Morning routines and ensure that there is a smooth process for breakfast and school preparation. You can plan your to-do list previous day. In fact, all the cutting vegetables, either you do it on the weekday, weekend, or the previous night. Your menus and all that, just prepare mentally or take a note of it, so and flash it, put it up in the refrigerator, so everybody, even the child, knows what you're going to prepare for them. Sometimes crankiness or last minute changes that cannot be accommodated, right? Especially the system is so rigid here. The bus comes on time, whether you are there or not. The bus comes. It is wonderful to see how people keep up time here. The system is driven that way. And once you leave that time, and then it's going to be chaotic. By the time you go drive past the traffic and then drop the kid will get into tardy. So it is it is needed to be proactive, right? You will be you'll be tuned to it, and it's good. And same with after school routine. If you can set a routine, like by the time the child comes in, what he or she has to do it, and maybe you're working, and you can always tell the child, these are supposed to be done, and by the time they get used to it, it'll save a lot of energy and time for both of you, right? You can also bring support from your spouse if you're a nuclear family. This part of the country, it is very important. Had add gadgets to it, like we have been able to give our child a watch which can track wherever she is, and she can even talk message, but there are no cameras, there are no other stuffs, it's only for communication. So that way it's easier for us to know, and then from here I can contact her. Maybe I'm on a call, I just have to few minutes, I'll have to figure out where she is. And even the bus is enabled with an app. I exactly know when the bus is going to come, so I can always arrange for a pickup. Or the best is delegated. You should have an understanding with your spouse or somebody at home who can do that, right? Similarly, bedtime. And I know bedtime routine has been, whether they are an elementary kid or a mid-schooler, it is chaotic. So developing a consistent wind down process for peaceful nights for all of us is important. Right now, mobile has come, social media has come into picture, and it is pervading all over the family. Whether it is adult or child, they are just not, we're not able to get rid of the social media, especially the phone. So we need to understand. what is important for health and family, and what is the long term, and then accordingly we'll have to either fix it and then stick to it. Okay, it is important when your child is looking at you watching the mobile, they might even want to do it, they will model it. So we'll have to walk, demonstrate what is required, right? Then comes delegating responsibilities, right? In my previous episode, I would have told about a particular formula. Okay, I'm again repeating it. So when you feel you are pressed with so many things, okay, it is important to have a distinction. First of all, is it serving you or not? If something is not serving you, something is serving you, take a list of it, continue to do so. Something is not serving you, bifurcate again, one more step, saying whether it is in your control or not. Those are in your control, you can always plan it. Something which is not in your control, that you need to think, how are you going to plan it? So simply, there's a formula. The abbreviation is DAT formula. Okay, so the first thing is outsource. Okay, if the cost is affordable, you can outsource. That's the best thing. Wherever your expertise is not required, you outsource it. Second thing is to delegate it. Now, who you can delegate? This part of the country, outsourcing is very, very tough. So the next best thing is to delegate. Who your family member you can delegate, your children you can delegate, or maybe your friends. Something which is pressing, you can delegate it, right? So you're going to assign the task and assess it and then delegate it. Second thing, if you're not delegating, if you're not able to delegate, best is to automate it so that you're not dependent on anybody and it doesn't go for a last minute chaos. Best is to automate something which you can automate. So even when we want to pick up the groceries, we want to hand pick a lot of Indian stuffs. So even in that note, it has taken for us 6 to 8 months to figure out which particular groceries, which particular shopping malls for what items is something that we had to figure out. Once you get that, it's best that to stick with only one place, one or two places. That way, you will, the body is also tuned with eating that kind of stuffs, and then you will exactly can measure where, your health and nutrition aspect, and also time and effort. By the time you want to switch over to so many places, you'll have to drive, and then decision fatigue can happen. In order to avoid all that, best is to automate every possible way at every transaction. Either you automate using, automate the focus time, automate the time involved in it, or the effort for, you're going to automate the process, particular transaction for the effort that has been taken, or the money and resources have been spent on it. Wherever it is possible, it's best to automate, right? The last one is delete it. If it is not serving at all, there is no, maybe it is not in your control, right? You should have the courage to delete from your transactions, live transactions. It could be process, it could be an activity that you're doing, which is not actually serving you, which is, if you can prioritize that it is important, then you will not come to that stage of, deleting. You would have actually tried to finish it. But these are low priority tasks. That is why it keeps piling up. So the best thing is to delete it in terms of process or any transactions. Or it could even be with people. Sometimes you're just stuck with that negative loop of people, that the same kind of conversations, the same kind of mindset. It's going to only going to drain you. So you should have the courage to say no, set the boundaries very clearly, and come out of it without burning the bridges. You can always fall back. I mean, if people understand you, they're going to understand you. But if they're not able to, then they may fizzle out. That may not be the right, people around you. So you will have to have that courage to see that distinction. I hope this will be useful for you. And then once you're very clear, you're going to assign the task. First of all, assess the task, whether your child can do this or your spouse can do this, what amount of effort is required, or whether you only have to do it. And then you're going to assign rules. Then teach them also. When it is required, it is important to have that download. What expectations you have in your mind has to be told to them. Sometimes there has to be some learning. Maybe it is a learning for them also. Tell them and inspire them as to, why they're doing what they're doing. It could be an help for you, or it could be a life skill for them. Then meal planning, grocery shopping, we just did it. Batch cooking also is something that you can proactively do it. But in my case, prepare some meals in advance for busy days is something I have not taken across. It'll be like I can only prepare the groceries and provisions beforehand. But so I've not tried the batch cooking yet. In my case, two things worked for me. One is either cooking the both the meals in the morning and lunch, keeping it ready, and dinner we can always make it fresh. Sometimes the breakfast could be you know, the adjustment breakfast where we just grab what is available there. But as long as we have something nutrition and making ourselves, um, breakfast is important for this. Okay. And then the lunch will be detailed. It involves all the, whatever necessary nutritions. And again, we are not perfect, but that much planning is essential for us. And then dinner, usually we have a lot of fruits and, water intake, any drinks or anything like that. So our dinner could be very simple. So that way we are like okay with the nutrition and then making sure that all the groceries are locally purchased and Indianized. And also we feel fulfilled of, balancing our diet, right? So second thing is either that way or only cook when whatever is needed fresh, like either breakfast, finish it, and then come for a lunch separately. In the meantime, we can, I can always work, or dinner again separately, provided my work schedules, fits in. Suppose I have a continuous calls, I might as well want to finish everything in the morning. So after, let's say, 9 or 9:30, I will never be entering kitchen except for taking food. Only after my child comes in, I will again go for preparing snacks or dinner and then finish it again by 7. After that, I'm not entering into kitchen at all. So everything will be cleaned. And I have a practice of cleaning the stove and the sink and everything, make the dishes for every night and clear the garbage. So that is something mandate. So this has helped me pick up a routine, and it does, help the cleanliness of kitchen, especially with dealing with food. And also there is a lot of pesticides, wasted area because people use non-veg a lot, and it comes in, right? So it is very important to maintain that cleanliness. So for which, whatever is your family values, you can plan it accordingly. Okay, whatever works well for you. Preparing for the unexpected, here also proactivity helps. So you're going to prepare an emergency kit. You're going to well stock first aid kit, emergency supplies. Emergency could be any terms. First is physical emergency. The first aid kit is important. Second thing is emergency in terms of financial. Okay, that we will cover it, later in the slides. But that is also emergencies. Third important thing is emergency in terms of people's health. Okay, we are here and our parents are in India, so we always have this proactivity planning all the time going on because we are always on the edge, right? Nothing is stable. Government is changing, and then market is dynamic. People are also aging. There's a lot of health issues happening. Pandemic had come, and then the seasonal effect, climate change can happen. So we are always on the verge. So we don't want to have a firefighting every day, because of which we are proactive to think through and plan ahead. And the tickets, I mean, air tickets also is very costly. We need to plan ahead. Although earlier, it is not necessary for somebody who's staying in their native land, but it is for immigrants. There's a huge, a lot of, list of challenges, for which I think proactivity is a must. Um, Type in the comments, if you're an immigrant mom, you know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. Mm. So the chat is connecting now. All right. Okay, I'm just telling you, are you an immigrant mom? If you are, just give me a smiley. You will know what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So, having said this, backup meals, again, we spoke a little bit, and especially during travel. So, that is another thing. We have a huge, you know, choice of meals. The list is endless, because we are foodie, and especially my daughter and husband from India, we're always tuned that way, right? So we love traveling at the same time having our home food, right? So we plan ahead and make sure that we take the necessary backup meals wherever we travel. Flexible schedule is also important. Building buffer time in order to have your routines for unexpected events also is very important, and you just cannot panic because that's how it is. As much as um, you know, the system is very organized here. Everything is organized. In fact, even if you're in a, emergency, you can only go to emergency unit. But if you are, as it could be a small infection, regular infection, and there has to be some emergency attention, then you'll have to wait for appointment, even for your children. So that is a killing factor here. But I think it's good going through a system. It always gives us the record, and it helps us catch that importance, why it is important, and fairly treat it, right? So first come first basis, and it makes you think creatively, proactively. So that's good. Having a routine is good because it increases your efficiency. And then during family communication, how you can be proactive. One is to have a family meeting. If, I mean, we're not going to convene a meeting because we're not in a larger families anymore. Not many of us are living in a joint family. So if it's going to be a household meeting, you can have a dinner table conversation or just a catch up on a weekend, just to open up any topic. And then if there is any challenge going on, it's good to have a brainstorming sessions with your family. Okay, have an open dialogue, encourage family members to contribute their ideas and also share their needs and ideas. Very important. And you're going to adjust and adapt accordingly. Okay, and important is to prioritize your self-care. Very, very, very important. Proactivity means elements of prioritizing also. And very important is to take care of yourself because you are important for your family and you are important for yourself, right? You're going to schedule that me time and it'll be only for you. Make sure that you're communicating to your family members. Without knowing, that you need this time, they can also not know what to expect. So it's better to have an open communication with them and tell them that this is your chunk of time that you don't want to be disturbed. Okay. And then you never know, even if it's a toddler that you cannot, sometimes we just cannot have our time. I totally understand because I've been there too, especially with a nuclear family with lack of support. But when you can communicate with your children, they will slowly try to understand. Setting boundaries. This is where we have to say no for non-essential commitments. You need to know the distinctions, what is serving you, what is not serving you. It includes people also. You just need not be, this is what I learned. I need not be in all the parties. Not in terms of, you know, becoming popular or having an attachment or I'm obsessive about. I'm not an extrovert actually. I'm an ambivert. I'm okay to have people. At the same time, I need my own space. So I learned it the hard way because it was when you have a toddler at home, you are bound to be very extrovert. You need to be outgoing to gain friendship, at least for the child. But then it slowly got caught up that, we just get pulled over in every other times. And then the FOMO kicks in for, if not for us, the child gets some FOMO. A lot of adjustment has to happen. So that is why you have to put yourself down and, I mean, put your foot down and to say what is needed and what is not needed. Okay. It takes practice and it takes mindfulness. And spiritually, if you can have any mindfulness practice, that will definitely help you be grounded. Okay. Now it's an interesting part. This is where I share a case study, and today's topic is about proactivity for moms. And I would like to quote a person called Indra Nooyi from India. She was a former CEO of PepsiCo. She was a rock star during that time because she was known for, um, you know, apt example for how a career woman, an ambitious career woman, at the same time a family mom, uh, juggle both the responsibility really well and really was successful in both the domains. Okay. So she was known for balancing high powered career and family. And she was marked by notable achievements, including leading PepsiCo at various times for a long time, being dominated by men. So it was she worked her way off to make that company one of the world's largest food and beverages company. Her success is a testament to her ability to navigate complex business environments and drive innovation. Okay, so her proactive approach, like creating structures and routines to manage both personal and professional responsibilities, was highly remarkable. Nui's a positive approach is also evident in her commitment, like creating a system that prioritizes her work and family. There were so many interviews that she gave, and her husband will also be present. And it's like lovely to see the life testimonial as to how they have built a family together. She implemented strategies like blocking and delegating tasks to maintain a healthy balance. She has a great relationship with her mother, even though she was careerly, ambitious woman. She was able to create that kind of a system what is needed for her children and the family, without dismissing or jeopardizing the either side of it. Okay, that is important. That balance is important. Now, on this note, how what are the other areas you will have to start thinking about proactivity? One is implementing your time blocking. Okay, based on Indra Nui's example, how are you going to do that? First is assessing the task. So list all the regular activities and responsibilities. List one which is not serving you. Okay, and then you're going to categorize similar tasks together for efficient time management. Whatever is like similar in terms of time, effort, results, or money, resources, you just bucket it, right? And then you're going to schedule blocks. You're going to assign time slots for each category. And then either get into deep focus mode, put a timer and say 20 minutes for each task, or you do a binge working. So either ways, it worked for me, and I keep switching. And having a break in between is very, very important. So, just get up from your chair, just take a walk or take a stroll, blink your eyes, take some sun, or just do a jumping jack, some break like that. Or, if you're binged, worked for 1 or 2 days continuously, take a break. Like, it's like the world is moving towards 4 days a week now. How is it even possible? That's what is happening with all the billionaires, because they necessarily found out that the brain needs a pause. They need a break. So we always have a 6 days week. Now it is becoming, it went to 5 days week, and then right now it's 4 days week, because that rejuvenation is important. So think about that. And creating a command center. Okay, when you are at home, right, handling family, you're going to create a central location where accessible spot for family information and time schedules, right? Similarly, you know either this way, where all of them get their eyes on it, as and when they walk. It need not be a dedicated place like this, but as long as it is seen, visible to everybody, that's where you're going to write all the instructions. That is where you're going to pick up necessary notes and reminders. Okay, and essential elements is including a calendar, message board, and storage for important documents. Very, very important. These are all organizing your, not just the task, not just the people and process. It also organizes the brain for us to give that necessary focus, give that necessary free bandwidth in our brain, right? To understand what is important, and then working on high priority task. Because if it's cluttered everywhere and we have been pulled everywhere, then it's not going to be organized enough to let us focus. I mean, it's an organ, right? It is like a muscle. So it is very important to do that. Okay. And regular updates. You're going to keep information current and relevant for family members. That is equally important. If not, you can use mobile apps. Now it is more of a digital. You just need to have either the watch or and an Apple. I mean, the phone will definitely do it. You're going to, again, this is what you're going to do it. You're going to leverage the technology for proactivity. Apps, cloud storage, and smart home. Of course, Alexa has come in place, Siri has come in place. They take care of your shopping groceries. They take care of the visitors. There's a camera which is out, which can be fit in outdoor or even indoor. If you have a larger family with too many children, so you can always fix a reminder there, and you're just going to call them from your dining table. A lot of things have come for our conveniences, but it is important to know what is serving you and for your family, and then accordingly invest. then teaching proactivity to children is equally important. Okay. How you're going to model that behavior? You're going to demonstrate proactivity habits in your own life because they're going to look at you. If by the time the child is getting into elementary to mid school, they would need proactivity skills. They just cannot. This is a huge transition. I've been sharing this in the previous episodes also. A child, when he or she enters into elementary to mid school, they are out there all alone by themselves. Although the school is existing, the entire classroom is there and the teachers will be there. But unlike the elementary school where they got coaxed, they were in a protected environment where they have a dedicated classroom and the teachers will come to teach. But when they go to mid school, they got to go to different classes. It's like they're out there figuring out when is the period and then where is the classroom and what is the routine and all that. By the time they enter even 1 minute or 2 minute late, they are tardy. So it's going to affect their scores. So it definitely is needed. And you just cannot expect your, lethargic child to be gone out there to learn. It's very important to teach them what is proactivity at home because charity begins at home. You're going to encourage them planning ahead because by the time they come to mid school and high school, they will be bombarded with homeworks. It's so in the case with any other country. So we need to help them plan. We need to set schedules, give reminders. In fact, my entire life, so many days, I've been preparing myself to constantly remind, whether for my child or for the family things or for my own self. It is only reminder which is helping. So I think moms will be constant reminder, but it is also equally important to remind yourself your self care and what you are, proactively planning for yourself because my heart goes to all the busy moms. It is very important to take care of ourselves. And then prize initiatives. Suppose they have taken initiative and they are able to proactively manage something, you're going to recognize them and reward them. Okay. All right. Next one is handling unexpected changes. Okay. Remember the buffer that we always given. So that time you're going to stay calm, maintain your composure when plan changes unexpectedly. Only when you can plan the 80% ahead, at least. But suppose that mom has not taken into consideration anything at all, then there is no question of staying calm. They'll always be impulsive. So you need to assess your priority. You got to quickly determine what's important to address first and then communicate with your family. Cannot insist more. This is important to have that constant communication going on. Even whether you like it or not, these are something which will help you reduce the stress. Also, the people around you. Right. Seasonal proactivity, right? Very important. When you are staying outside your, this part of the world, the west part of the world is too. We got to be proactive to even the storms and hurricanes and every time zone shifts or the monthly whatever is required for our seasonal climatic conditions. We got to be prepared. And that's why I said in the beginning that we are setting up our mood and setting up our environment towards colder times. It's very important to check our heater in place and the pipes gets frozen sometimes due to the cold things. So we need to be preparing ourselves, um, keep the backup and make sure that the drainage systems are taken care, and also the apparels. So we need to be equipped when we want to step out, that boots or jackets and, headwear and all that has to be there in order to, when you have a school going kid, it is very important to give them all that convenience. And when you are commuting, it is also important to take care of all that. So when it's spring, you need to plan for deep cleaning and outdoor activities because that is the time sun comes out and you can just keep your outdoors open and then start doing things outdoor. And with summer, plan your vacation schedules, children, because that is the school breaks. So make use of it. And if it's fall, prepare for back to school activities and holiday planning, right? And winter, set up systems for managing indoor activities and holiday events, right? And then comes financial proactivity. Now, very, very crucial for women to get into the financial aspect. It is very convenient for a lot of women to say, not exposed to that area at all. But not just being a working woman or a businesswoman, it is also important when you're a family homemaker. You need to have a hands-on about what is the track of money coming in and going. Budgeting is very important. Creating, maintaining family budget for financial control is very, very important. And even though you may not be a breadwinner, but you are a person, you are responsible for that money inflow and outflow also. You are the one who's going to save it. So you need to keep a hands-on budgeting. And then saving goals, set and track saving goals for future expenses. Regular reviews. So you're going to have a monthly check-ins to stay on track and maintaining work-life balance. So this way you're going to set your boundaries, prioritize, and have a flexibilities, right? So whether you're a working person, you will have to set your boundaries about not bringing the work schedules to the family and mix it up. And you need to prioritize what is important. We have seen about financial proactivity, seasonal proactivity. We have seen about delegating our chores priorities. So many things we have seen in terms of bringing proactivity, right? Accordingly, you're going to prioritize. And flexibility, you need to be adaptable for any unexpected work or family needs arise. That is what essentially called proactive. How many of you remember the keywords to be proactive? Okay. Planning ahead plus problem solving. If you're good at problem solving impromptu, make sure that it is not going to be lucky day for every day. You need to have plan ahead. But if you're planning ahead only and not taking action, you're not being proactive. You need to keep your hands on everything to act on it. Then your planning is of no use, right? Then evaluating and adjusting proactive strategies. This will be the last one because you should know whether your plans have come good by the time you want to solve the problems, right? And is it really helping you move towards the goal or not? So that track and progress and reflection has to happen. Suppose whatever you planned, whatever you were able to solve, it didn't satisfy. You'll have maybe it didn't work for you. Maybe there are failures. You're going to reflect back and also track it next time so that you will be able to see through, plan ahead for the next time based on the reflection that you have done. It is very important to evaluate regular check-ins, assess that effectiveness of you being proactive in creating systems, okay, monthly, weekly, yearly, quarterly, whatever it is. And accordingly gather feedback. You should be open to ask feedback from people around you because make use of those resources around you. You just cannot wait for the life to tell you, hey, you know what, your planning was not good. You're going to be smarter to ask, make use of people around you, or use the technology available, or better learn from your mistakes, or the most smarter ones is you don't have to do the mistakes, learn it from others people's mistakes, because you cannot have a whole lifetime to keep doing mistakes and learning from it. You just be smarter enough to look for success models. That is why case studies are given to you. So that is exactly the reason why we do this, and make sure that you learn from other people's mistake, and you're going to make a necessary adjustment. You're going to refine your approach based on family needs and feedback. Lastly, you may have a question as to where are you right now? How are you doing this, right? As a mom, where do you stand? I'm going to give you an opportunity to assess your proactivity skills in your family zone, okay, by taking up a fun questionnaire. It'll have 10 questions, which will give you different options with the right answer. You will find your own scores coming on to you to your email ID. So there is something called awareness quiz bundles for 100 topics that we are doing. Okay. Not necessarily for every topic, but you pick up any particular topic. Like, for example, proactivity for moms is going to be little different from proactivity for an entrepreneur. So there will be a quiz available for you. Okay. Similarly, for all talents or in all aspects of topics we will be discussing, you will find all that in that awareness quiz bundles. Okay. It will come to you as a lifetime access. You can access it anytime. I will try to refresh the questionnaire once in a while, maybe 6 months once I will try to reboot. But essentially what you have to do is you're going to take that a questionnaire and then take that scores, and you'll also find tips and strategies. But for you to win that, it's actually cost when you go to the public website and look for it in my website, community access. But for you, what I'm going to give you, if you can share your story as a mom, how has proactivity helped you? Few tips that you can share it with our audience. Like, I'll be happy to see your comments there. I'll be more inspired to see what's working for you. If you can give me that tips, I'll or if you want to just share the learnings that you have gained in this podcast or in this episode, I'll give you the 100% free coupon to access this awareness quiz bundles for all 100 topics. Okay? You're going to earn it. And it is lovely to have your sharing there so that you engage and then you win this 100% free coupon code. Secondly, if you want to fast track, let's say you want to learn the proactive right now, it is very much needed. And Brinda, I don't want to wait for this 100 days to complete. Then there is a way that you can come for a masterclass. I'll open up the three secrets for you to approach your brain talent, your unique brain styles. For all the talents that we will be discussing, where are you standing? All that will be given to you in the masterclass. I will also tell you how you can access your brain style report, AI driven, globally accepted brain style reports. What is the way to access all that will be discussed in the masterclass. That way you can fast track. You don't have to wait. And this link will also be given in the description. It's free for women. So it's only for busy moms that we are doing, and the masterclass is also for busy moms. Okay. So with these two, I'm also asking you to keep learning, and there's an ongoing resources you can find in my YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You will find me coming live with the presentation format. Or if you are on the fly, on the go, you are an auditory person, there's also a podcast that I'm doing for all these 100 episodes in a shorter version, point shooter. So subscribe to my Spotify. And if you are a person who likes to read stories, I'm going to give you emotional intelligence in a storyfied format. Okay, that is coming to you in Substack platform. All these are given in the link in the descriptions. Please subscribe. And if you really like this episode, give me your like and love and support, and also share it with somebody whom you think it's needed. So until I see you tomorrow with another topic, um, stay tuned and make use of those learnings that you are going to, uh, put that in comments. Also practice this within 24 hours time. Then that really means you're able to instill the learnings and also be able to apply. Then if it's working for you, I'll be more than happy to know, and that's a boost for me. Okay, I'll proactively plan so many other series for you.